premature baby girl died after a hospital blunder when her feeding tube was incorrectly inserted into an artery, an inquest heard. The mistake, which wasn't spotted by doctors in a later X-ray, led to what is known as an infarction, and tragically Betsy Rose Riley died 5 weeks later when she was just 52 days old. As a result of the blunder, Betsy's blood supply to her spinal column was obstructed, which led to abnormalities. Little Betsy was born early at just over 25 weeks on February 7, 2016, after mum Leander Collins was flown from the family home in Ventnor, Isle of Wight, to Princess Anne Hospital, in Southampton, Hants. Betsy Rose Riley died 5 weeks after the hospital blunder. Image, Solent News. Within 12 hours was taken off oxygen, and for the first 2 weeks of her life was defying doctors' expectations and doing well. However, Miss Collins, 30, and her partner, Neil Riley, 37, then noticed their baby lost grip in her fingers and suddenly stopped moving her arms. Miss Collins said, "We questioned it straight away. We noticed a huge, sudden change, but we kept getting fobbed off by hospital staff. We wanted to know what had happened to cause it." Leander Collins went into labor at 25 weeks. Image, Solent News. Struggling to breathe, became paralyzed from the waist up, and tests revealed an abnormality in her spinal column that had not been there at birth. Her devastated parents were told Betsy, who was their first child, would never recover, and on March 30, 2016, she sadly died. She weighed less than a bag of sugar at the time of her death. An inquest at Winchester Coroner's Court, Hants, heard evidence from medical staff at University Southampton NHS Foundation Trust that a feeding tube had been inserted incorrectly into Betsy's artery. An X-ray taken after the line was inserted did not reveal the mistake to staff. A post-mortem found Betsy died of an infarction, the obstruction of the blood supply to an organ or area of tissue, or death of tissue on her spinal cord, and complications due to being premature. Company directors charged after 7-month-old baby boy's tragic bed death. Betsy's feeding tube was incorrectly inserted into an artery. Image, Solent News. Agency, Coroner Graham Short concluded that, on the balance of probabilities, the placement of the feeding line had led to the infarction. Miss Collins, a Tesco team leader, said, "They never warned us there was a risk associated with inserting the long line. Betsy had an 80% chance of survival without having the procedure. It seems there were a number of errors and it took months and months for the hospital to tell us," Mr. Riley, a Tesco store manager, added. "When we got the results from an investigation into Betsy's death, which we did not get until December 2016, we were extremely upset. It was clear the hospital were following their set plan, and we were constantly being reassured by staff about the plan of action, but actually, retrospectively, when the report came out, our concerns were valid. We felt like we were fobbed off as hysterical parents. It was devastating to get the report. We were trying to get closure and put our lives back together, and finding out about these errors ripped it all up again. We put a lot of faith in these people. Nobody took responsibility for what happened." Neil and Leander have since had a healthy baby boy, Oliver. Image, Solent News. They have raised £36,000 in Betsy's memory, which was donated to various good causes that helped the family, including Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance, Ronald McDonald House Southampton, the Coast Guard Association, and Southampton Hospital Charity. Mr. Riley said, "Without the 4 organisations, the couple may not have been able to spend as much time with Betsy as they did." The money raised was divided equally between all 4 good causes and helped buy neonatal equipment for the hospital. A spokesman for University Hospital Southampton NHS Foundation Trust said, "Betsy's death was extremely sad and difficult for everyone involved with her care, and our thoughts remain with her parents and family. We will continue to offer them our full support and will keep them updated with changes and improvements made to minimize the risk of a similar error occurring again in the future."